So I've got a Orbit sprinkler here. Picked this up last year, and when I turned on the water, it was spouting underneath the base from all over the place. So looking at it more closely when I took it apart, here we go, classic plastic junk. The plastic is split here, so a good portion of the water is coming out the bottom as opposed to the top, and now it actually doesn't cycle around, so it just sits in one place because the bulk of the water is coming out down here. So I'm going to try to fix this, because I'm sure if I buy another one of these things, it's going to do the same thing. It's just going to break, and I'm just going to be wasting my money. So I picked up a hose clamp, and I also scuffed the plastic with a knife. And the reason I scuffed it up is I want the glue to stick. So I'm going to put the hose clamp on here, and I'm then going to use a clamp to push this down firmly, because it's beveled. The plastic is not going straight up and down. It gets wider at the bottom of the base. So I'm going to push this down with a quick grip, and then while it's pushed down, I'm going to put some epoxy on here. But I want to close the seam before I get the epoxy on there. I don't want all the glue running into the thread, and then you can't screw this thing in because you'll mess the thread up. So we're going to give this a shot and see if we can do a cheap fix on this thing. Okay, so I used JB Weld, which is a 2-part epoxy. This is really strong glue, and I'm confident this will hold it. I did not use my quick grip to push the hose clamp further down on the sprinkler. I put it in my vise. The vise allows more compression to get that hose clamp deeper onto the plastic. So we're going to have to let this dry a day, and then we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I decided to put this in a vise as opposed to a clamp. The vise allowed me to tighten it down further to get the hose clamp more closer to the base. The JB Weld takes a good day to dry, so I'm not going to be able to test this till tomorrow. But hopefully this will work. Okay, the glue is dried, so we're going to put this back together and see if this will keep most of the water from leaking out the bottom. So we just got to screw the base on. Because it's plastic, I mean, you don't want to go super tight on plastic threads. So just make it a snug fit. The hose clamp is rubbing a little bit on the bottom, but I don't think that's going to matter much. So we'll try it out and see how it goes. Okay, so I've been running a sprinkler for a few minutes, and this definitely solved the problem. The leak on the bottom is gone. It's no longer gushing water out of there. There was so much water gushing out the bottom, there wasn't enough pressure for this thing to rotate and move around anymore. So as you can see, there's just some dribbles of water coming, and that's probably coming from the actual spigot itself. But it is no longer gushing water out the bottom. So with that JB Weld glue, I'm confident that will hold up over time. And I think this is better than buying a new one, because it's going to have the same problem.